Good evening. Welcome to the QCIS channel, where you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. My name is Leon Jones, and if you looked at my first video, I talked about GIS, which is Geographical Information Systems. Now, I'm going to look at a satellite-based. Is it software? No, but companies like Garmin use it, NOAA uses it. It's known as Global Positioning Systems, or GPS. So, what is GPS? I'm going to get to that. But when we deal with GPS in the field of surveying, you set up an instrument, and GPS can pull a lot of data for you. In fact, if you're out in the field today as a surveyor, you don't have to have as many people out. Why? GPS will do the work for you. In fact, they have a robotic instrument that will chase the survey around. You can put that robotic instrument up on a hill somewhere. That data collector, that robot sees that data collector. Now, is that GPS? No, that's just the robotics of the instrument. However, you do have a GPS system out there. In fact, you set the instrument up on a tripod and there's a little dome up there. It's known as GPS. It's a global positioning system. So let me show you what a global positioning system is. Now, of course, you see this gentleman up here. He's holding what we call GPS. Now, as you know, GPS systems aren't just in surveying, they also put them on cars. Again, you see this individual, GPS is used as a navigation device. You even have GPS in your phone, your cell phone. So when we deal with GPS, well, what is it? Technically, GPS stands for Global Positioning System, and it's a network of satellites and receiving devices used to determine the location of something on the Earth. Now, some GPS receivers are so accurate, they can establish their location within 1 centimeter, which is 0.4 inches. Now, GPS receivers provide location and latitude and longitude and altitude, and they also provide the accurate time. Now, when we deal with GPS, it includes 24 satellites that circle Earth in precise orbits. So each satellite makes a full orbit of Earth every 12 hours. These satellites are constantly sending out radio signals. So basically, when it comes to GPS, they do have receivers. Again, they receive information. GPS receivers are programmed to receive information about where each satellite is at any given moment. So a GPS receiver determines its own location by measuring the time it takes for a signal to arrive at its location from at least 4 satellites, because radio waves travel at a constant speed, so the receiver can use the time measurements to calculate the distance from each satellite. So when it comes to GPS, basically what happens is you're using multiple satellites, and the reason why you're using multiple satellites is because it makes the GPS data more accurate. So if a GPS receiver calculates its distance from only 1 satellite, it could be the exact distance from the satellite in any direction. So let's look at this example. Think of the satellite as a flashlight. Have you ever utilized a flashlight? Well, when you shine a flashlight on the ground, you get a circle of light. So with 1 satellite, the GPS receiver could be anywhere in that circle of light. With 2 or more satellites, there are 2 more circles. These 3 circles intersect or cross in only one place. That is the location of the GPS receiver. So this method of determining location is called trilateration because you're using 3 satellites. And not just in surveying or cars you use satellites, but or GPS. They're just like GIS. There are many other instances where you use GPS. I'll give you an example. Aircraft, ships, submarines, trains, and even the space shuttle all use GPS to navigate. Many people use receivers, GPS receivers when driving cars. And how it works is the GPS receiver plots the car's constantly changing location on an electronic map. Again, if you have a GPS receiver in your car, it plots the car's constantly changing location on an electronic map. The map provides directions to the person's destination. Both the location and the vehicle are plotted using satellite data. Some hikers use GPS to help them find their way, especially when they are not on marked trails. Sometimes there are obstacles to getting a clear GPS signal. Again, GPS, just like a cell phone, uses radio waves, and radio waves are constantly traveling. And if you have cloud cover, you're not going to receive a signal. It's just like a cell phone. Cell phone is on bandwidth. If you don't have good reception, it's generally when you get dropped calls. So again, the reason why there are obstacles with GPS, it's because that's the topology of the Earth, or again, it's the weather. Also, gravity can pull the GPS satellites slightly out of orbit. So parts of the Earth's atmosphere sometimes distort the satellite radio signals. Trees, buildings, and other structures can also block the radio waves. So GPS control and monitoring stations around the world track the satellites and constantly monitor their signals. They then calculate corrections that are broadcast to GPS receivers. These corrections make GPS much more accurate. Now, the original GPS system began as a project of the US military. The first experimental satellite was launched in 1978. By 1994, a full 24 GPS satellites were orbiting Earth. Now, that is a 16-year difference. The first satellite was used as an experiment in 1978. So by 1994, there were 24 GPS satellites orbiting the Earth. So at first, GPS was available for civilian or non-military use, but it was not very accurate. It would only locate a GPS receiver within about 1,000 feet. Today, an accurate signal is free and available to anyone with a GPS receiver. Now, GPS is American. Of course, Russia has its own version of a GPS system called GLONASS, which is Global Orbiting Navigation Satellite System. Of course, China and the European Union are currently creating systems of their own. Now, again, it's a fact here. Scientists are using GPS to quickly determine the size of earthquakes. First, scientists plant GPS receivers in the ground. So by measuring how far these GPS receivers move, scientists can sometimes measure the strength of an earthquake in as little as 15 minutes. So knowing the size of an earthquake is central to predicting whether it can produce dangerous ocean waves known as tsunamis. So by the time a tsunami reaches land, it can be a huge destructive wall of water. So early warning is crucial in saving lives because tsunami waves move faster than people run. Here's another fact. GPS technology is used to track animals as they migrate from humpback whales to Arctic terns to grizzly bears, fitted with GPS receivers. These receivers let researchers know where that animal is as it moves. And the reason why that is so biologists can track animals as they migrate to another habitat or season, move in search of food or shelter, or are forced out of their ecosystem by human activity, such as construction. So overall, when we deal with GPS, again, need to notice GPS or Global Positioning System is a network of satellites and receiving devices used to determine the location of something on Earth. Some GPS receivers are so accurate they can establish their own location within 1 centimeter. And here you have a picture of a young man, young American, with a handheld GPS receiver. And again, the unit uses information from United States satellites to provide an accurate location almost anywhere on Earth. And there you have it. GPS. Again, it's not just in surveying. Military uses it. Aircraft, ships. It's used in a number of different areas. But all in all, no matter where you use it, it's used to navigate. That's GPS, Global Positioning Systems. And that concludes this topic on GPS. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some social and political content, you check out my main channel, the 411 Talk Zone radio show channel. Now, if you cannot find the QCIS channel or the 401 Talk Zone radio show channel on YouTube, you can check both of those channels out on Twitter. Now, because the QCIS channel is a channel that is educational, you can also check that channel out on Twitter. Once again, thank you for listening to the QCIS channel. This channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Next time, my name is Leon Jones. You all have a wonderful, gracious evening.